let me introduce you the lightest gaming mouse I've ever had the pleasure of owning. Today we are maybe looking at a bit of a different kind of mouse. This one's going by the name Xtrfy M4 RGB. I know, similar as with power supplies, you guys probably find reviews of gaming mice a bit on the boring side, but from time to time I do actually want to bring you a video like this because peripherals, in today's case a mouse, is actually a rather important aspect when it comes to one's whole gaming, or as in my case, workstation setup. It's a similar story as with toilet paper, only when it's gone you start missing it. Right off the bat, I of course gotta say, for many of us the weight of the mouse plays a big role. Some like it heavier, others prefer some sort of a more athletic, lightweight of a tool. Luckily, I am happy to be able to count myself to the people that can pretty much deal with any mouse weight. As long as the shape, switches and sensor are good, I'm a happy man. Right now the price of this M4 RGB currently is at about $60 US, so clearly this more or less is part of the upper class of mice. At this point I'd like to thank the popular German retailer Case King for providing me this rodent for today's test. Now before I forget, you can get the M4 RGB in a few different colors, or rather designs. Those that know me well know for a fact I'm boring and therefore prefer this simple black version. Alright, it's super strong, super lightweight, but is it the right one for you guys? That we'll try to find out. This mouse was designed in Sweden, and in terms of looks I really do like the design here. Thanks to these holes we also get a nice view on the internals of this little beast, so it sure has a bit of an industrial look depending on how you define that. To me the mouse makes a very, I don't know, athletic impression. It may or may not be some kind of placebo effect going on, knowing this thing hardly weighs anything, because I really feel like this Xtrfy M4 somehow is a tad bit faster, more agile than other mice at the same DPI and polling rate setting. A huge drawback of the skeletal shell is, after a couple of months of using it, the mouse's look might not be so pleasing anymore. It's completely normal for us humans to lose dead skin cells, and these typically would end up in these holes here. So cleaning can end up being a quite tedious job with this type of a shell. The ergonomics are one of a kind, simply amazing. From the very first second on, my hand really fell in love with the shape, and that really says a lot, because when it comes to mice, it takes me a really long time to get used to new mice. The M4 is mainly targeted towards right-handed users, but I believe left-handers could use it too if they aren't too picky about it. Now as for the sensor, we are getting none other than the very beloved PixArt 3389 optical one. And I just noticed I constantly talk about the weight, but never actually mentioned how little this thing weighs. We are talking of 69 grams, excluding the cable. If you're interested, my current daily driver, the mouse I use daily, comes in at a weight of 122 grams, also weight without the cable. So 122 grams go against today's 69. That's one hell of a big and noticeable difference. And exactly something this lightweight is what some people actually are looking for. At least that's what I've been reading in the comment section under my videos. On the bottom of the Xtrfy M4, we see 4 really good Teflon feet, which make gliding a nice, beautiful and mainly smooth, scratch-free experience. Because I don't know about you guys, but occasionally even the most expensive mice don't always glide perfectly smoothly, which however is also dependent on the surface, or rather mouse mat obviously. Oh, by the way, this happens to be a classic plug-and-play mouse, so after 1 to 2 seconds it's all set up, all without the need of software. This does have some advantages as well as disadvantages, the drawbacks having a more serious impact on some users. User customization of the buttons or an exact DPI setting are impossible, so no profiles, macros, programmable buttons whatsoever here. Even in terms of lighting, you may have to accept slightly less, but then again, in my opinion, we get plenty of colors and or effects to choose from anyway. Nonetheless, we as the users cannot fully customize each and everything on here. Now in order we aren't stuck with just a single setting. Xtrfy did include a 3-step polling rate switch at the bottom and a button to change the DPI in 8 levels. The most important DPI levels are covered luckily, so the majority of people will be satisfied. I only would have wished for 1 or 2 additional levels on the lower end between 1000 and 2000 DPI. At the top we get a button to change RGB effects and colors. When combined with the left or right mouse button or back and forward input buttons, brightness, colors, and speed of the effects can be adjusted. No worries, these days the option to be able to turn all lighting off completely can almost be considered an extra feature, and this mouse has it. And yeah, other than that, I'm surprisingly very happy using this gaming mouse. This came unexpected to me. Clicking does feel good, something you would come to expect since Omron switches are used, and even the scroll wheel does manage to impress. While it does offer slightly more resistance than many other wheels do, it also is more tactile than others, at least that's my subjective impression. All I can say is the Xtrfy M4 RGB certainly did win me over. The build quality seems to be good, the performance does impress too, obviously a very lightweight design, but drawbacks to some might be the lack of user customization options, basically no software that goes with this mouse, no macros, etc., and the fact cleaning could take away a bit from the initial joy. A nice little gimmick in the accessories are the 2 included special keycaps for your keyboard, as well as additional Teflon feet. So in my opinion, rating the Xtrfy M4 RGB isn't exactly easy, because one can see some negative sides here too. But I, for my part, actually can't name anything that bothers me personally about this mouse. In fact, I even find the pricing to be okay, which means I'm going by the feeling of my gut, and I'm giving this Swedish mouse my Gold Award. With that being said, thanks once again goes out to Case King, and of course, you guys for watching.